Welcome to FluteSpresso, sponsored by Flute Specialists. And I am so excited to be here today with our special guest, Adam Sadberry. Hi, Adam.
Hi, Heather. Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be here.
We're so glad to have you. So I am Heather Neuenschwander from Flute Specialists. And this is episode 25. Can you believe that, Adam? It's 25 episodes we've done.
That's fantastic. I remember the episode with Lorna McGee very vividly. I'm not sure how long ago that one was, but 25 is this is about as real as it's going to get at this point.
I didn't know that you had seen a few past episodes. That's so great. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, my pleasure.
So for those of you new to FluteSpresso, this is a live coffee chat with famous flutists like Adam. So we grab our cup of coffee, tea, or whatever beverage suits you this Sunday. Cheers.
Cheers.
This is my favorite part. And we invite you all to join in the conversation. I am so lucky that I get to chat here live on the screen with Adam, but you are part of it also. So type in the chat and ask questions, tell us your comments, and start by telling us where you're joining from and what you're drinking. Oh, we already got our first cheers. There it is. Thanks, Marilyn. We so much want you to join in the conversation that we actually will choose one person at random from the comments to get a free little gift from us as we enter the holiday season. We have some flute and piccolo ornaments, and we'd love to send one to one lucky viewer. So tell us where you're joining from, what you're drinking. I'm Heather Neuenschwander. I'm in Iowa, and I'm drinking black coffee, as I always do. We'll ask Adam in just a second, but first, as we get more people logged in, I'm going to tell everybody a little bit about Adam, if that's okay.
Go for it.
Here we go. Flutist and educator Adam W. Sadberry is paving a distinctive career with his citizenry, creativity, and vibrancy, both on and off stage. Adam has a strong foundation in orchestral playing. He has played principal flute with the St. Louis and Detroit Symphony Orchestras. Go Detroit. And his former positions include acting principal flute of the Memphis Symphony Orchestra and Cabrillo. Did I say that correctly? Cabrillo?
Yes.
Festival of Contemporary Music, flute and piccolo with the Des Moines Metro Opera, and orchestral fellow with the Detroit Symphony Orchestra. He's also performed with the Minnesota Orchestra, Seattle Symphony Orchestra, Sphinx Symphony Orchestra, and the New World Symphony. Adam can be heard playing on the soundtrack of Disney's The Lion King and in Hollywood Bowl's Juneteenth celebration just this year, 2022. Adam's commitment to citizenry is reflected through his collegiate work. He is on faculty at the University of Minnesota in the Twin Cities for the spring 2023 semester. Adam's work revolves around identity, his grandfather's legacy, and mindfulness that is informed by Alexander technique. His most popular lectures are using your identity to create a relevant voice in music and music journalism, continuing a legacy through the flute. Adam is currently enrolled in the training course at the Minnesota Center for the Alexander Technique, and he holds a Bachelor of Music and Performer Certificate from the Eastman School of Music. All right, Adam, tell us where you're joining from and what you're drinking.
Sure. So I am currently based in St. Paul, Minnesota, just across from Minneapolis. And inside of this beautiful mug is plain old water because I go wild when I have any caffeine. So this is for everybody's safety.
I say go wild, but I
we'll have to do another one.
So you recently moved to the Twin Cities, yes?
Yes, I did back in September. So it's only been about 4 months now.
And that was kind of a big life change for you. I don't know how much of that you would want to share openly with everyone, but I'd love to hear.
Sure. Moving to St. Paul was the culmination of a big decision I made to root my work more in who I am now and want to be in the future. And before moving to St. Paul, I was focusing on being the best orchestral solo flutist that I could and playing the game, quote unquote. And towards the end of my time in Memphis back in February, I received this incredible message essentially inviting me to be the sabbatical replacement at the University of Minnesota. And my gut reaction was yes, didn't even think about it for, a second or two. And that was a catalyst that had led me to decide to become more committed to my Alexander technique. Alexander technique has been something that I've had in my life since I was in high school, starting with my teacher back in high school, Jennifer Keeney, who is a phenomenal flutist and a certified Alexander technique practitioner. And realizing that I was about to have an opportunity to go to Minnesota, I decided to do research on training schools that could potentially be there. And I stumbled upon the one I'm enrolled at now, the Minnesota Center for the Alexander Technique, who has it has a fantastic teacher named Brian McCullough, and I'm using this Alexander technique and my teaching to start to push myself to become a more specifically um, collaborative and relevant version of my previous self. And I'm feeling myself getting closer to that vision, on a daily basis. And yeah, at this point, I am just kind of letting the doors swing open in my life, and I'm inviting whatever comes my way and testing things out, whether they are, um, playing more solo work or experimenting with jazz or kind of contemplating getting into songwriting a little bit. I don't know. But I'm at a point now where I'm trying to find my own path. And right now is when I'm, putting the pavement in.
I see that we have a certified Alexander Technique teacher here as well. So I thought I would mention that. Let's see if I can show that. So,
oh, hi, Janet.
I've never taken any Alexander Technique training myself. Do you have any advice for people who might want to get started?
Oh my gosh. I mean, Alexander Technique has been the single biggest catalyst for change in my life. And I mean that as seriously as possible because I view it as kind of a key. Through the work of Alexander Technique, which is a lot of learning how the body works kinesthetically, proprioceptively, and learning how that involves the mind and how you can use the two of them to make a lot of changes in your life. Learning the basic principles of that combined with working on them on a regular basis and hopefully eventually a moment-to-moment basis, you can kind of transform your ability to exist and to be and find more peace in everything that you do, along with making the flute easier and not getting road rage and a lot of things. So yeah, anyone who's interested in getting into Alexander Technique should check out really any TED Talk on Alexander Technique, or maybe do some research on a local teacher or schools nearby. There are not many schools in this country, but there are a lot of practitioners, so there are plenty of opportunities out there. And I highly recommend, as I think you might think I would say it.
And it seems that you've been touring and playing and lecturing a lot as well. Do you have, oops, I didn't mean to hit that button. Do you have any particular projects you're really excited to talk about?
Yes. So the biggest project that's coming up is my debut concert at Merkin Hall in New York City at the Kaufman Center. And it's going to be fantastic for me, not just for the opportunity to share on a large stage, but to get to share a piece that's being written for me. And this piece is by a composer here in St. Paul, actually, named Damien Strange, who is big into electronic music and using the energetic qualities of music to tell stories rather than just melodies, although he's very good at that too. And the piece is about my grandfather. It is going to be in 5 movements. My grandfather's name is L. Alex Wilton, by the way. And just a little bit about him is that he is is my late grandfather who worked during the civil rights movement as a journalist and covered the lynching of Emmett Till, the Montgomery bus boycott, Little Rock Nine, and cemented his place in history as a very pivotal figure, considering that he knew Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King knew him. President Eisenhower knew who he was. And because of the work that my grandfather did, the Civil Rights Act of 1957 was signed into act because of the fact that President Eisenhower thought it was so important. And anyway, so this piece is going to be in 5 movements featuring elements of nature, fire, water, earth, air, and the last one is ether. So kind of connecting into the spirituality of it all, which will be really exciting. But yeah, that'll be my first time getting to play that piece. That is going to be a symbol of his humanity and his work and courage and contributions to life. And I don't think I've been more excited to do anything, honestly.
That's amazing. I was writing down the composer's name. You said Damien Strange?
Yes, spelled Dameun, and then Strange as is.
Okay, good. And a good plug there for Damien.
Yes, we love Damien.
Oh, absolutely. I'm hoping they have a website because I'm going to look them up now.
Yes, he absolutely does.
Absolutely. Okay, great. Fantastic. We'll encourage everyone to go to Damien's site then. And I was looking at some pictures and some video from the lecture that you just gave about your grandfather and journalism and pairing with the flute. I'd love to hear more about that and share some details with the audience that maybe hasn't looked at it yet.
Sure. So this presentation was inspired by my grandfather's legacy and is rooted in intertwining articles that are based in his old newspaper, the Tri-State Defender, which is one of the biggest Black newspapers in the South, based in Memphis, and combining those works with music by Black composers that tells stories. So, for example, I have pieces by Valerie Coleman. I have Her Wish. I have William Grant Still's Mother and Child. There's a piece called 6 Variations on a Pende Tune by a Ghanaian composer named Fred Onweswoke. And there is also Valerie Coleman's Portraits of Langston. And for example, one of the pairings is Mother and Child with the lynching of Emmett Till, because I want to focus on the humanity involved in the beauty and the music of Mother and Child, and how you can hear the mother and child elements very clearly. And putting that against the lynching of Emmett Till and his mother, Mamie Till Mobley, who, gave her life to making sure that her son was not forgotten and that his time on earth was honored. And it plays into the interconnectedness of those mother figures and those child figures, and how all of them are representative of humanity, regardless of how dark or macabre, the results ended up being. So just trying to connect time and emotions and realness.
I imagine it's difficult to perform in an emotional moment like that.
It is. It absolutely is. I'll never forget the first time that I gave the story of Emmett Till and then had to play music that was supposed to be, the purest form of love between, a mother and child. And I couldn't help but think about my own mother and how much it's meant to be a part of a family that has done so much work for the world around them. And, breathing becomes fun, vibrato becomes fun, and I will get through it, always get through it, but there's always a moment of, this is the story, this is music, I have to be the conduit and not the holder of it. So yeah, it's a whole experience.
I admire that you're able to bring that presentation to others and keep your composure. I'm sure your Alexander training helps, and mindfulness training.
It definitely does. Yeah. I'm much better at being in the present moment in my body and whatever else is going on.
Well, that's a fantastic legacy that you're helping carry, the legacy of your grandfather. Are there others in your family helping support your work?
My parents have both helped a little bit in terms of helping me find some articles that my grandfather had taken care of in the past. And my grandfather's late wife, my grandmother, Emma Jean Wilson, started to write a book about him. And unfortunately, she passed away before she finished. But at a certain point, I'd like to see what I can do with the work that's already been created. So TBD. I have no idea what the timeline will be for that, but I'm definitely not the only one.
Ah, so from flutist to published author.
Ah! Maybe one day. That'd be wild. I need some more hyphens in my title.
So I'm going to switch gears a little bit, if that's okay, and ask
Yes.
about some of your teaching and residencies that you've been doing too.
Sure.
Do you want to talk about some of the specific? I saw you were up in northern Michigan when there was snow in October. How cool is that?
That was an existential crisis. I couldn't believe that was happening in that moment. But yeah, that was my second residency, and it included a recital where I played a lot of the music that I just talked about. I did a presentation called Using Your Identity to Create a Relevant Voice in Music. And that is something that I came up with during the pandemic as a way for me to connect with myself and my desires and how I can use those to contribute to the world, and be a little bit more present in my work, including my flute playing. Like, instead of just thinking I'm practicing, like I'm trying to think I am making something that is, much bigger than myself. It's very separate from myself, and will hopefully be able to help others do the type of reflection that I was doing. And there's also a concerto. I played the Mozart D major flute concerto with the Marquette Symphony Orchestra, and I gave a flute masterclass to one flute student who happened to be the drum major of the marching band, and it was a glorious experience. Loved it.
That's fantastic. And then you've been doing some other traveling. Is there anything else you want to tell us about other places you've been recently, other teaching you've done?
Well, I've been around a lot. Like I've been to Chicago for concerts. I was at IU doing a guest artist recital there with a pianist friend of mine who is on faculty there. I played with the Minnesota Orchestra recently on the Rite of Spring concert. I am working on a concert for Music for Autism, which is a nonprofit organization that gears musical opportunities for families that have children on the autism spectrum. And it's a safe, quiet, and controlled environment that allows for those children who don't have the opportunity to be out and really free in a lot of settings. It gives them the chance to have that in the comfort of their own homes. So I'm very excited to go do that next week via Zoom, and it'll be my second time doing it.
Ah, fantastic. And you've been playing with the Minnesota Symphony as well?
Yes, yeah. I played with the orchestra a few times now, and I love every moment of it because that group is so alive with music. They are extremely inspiring.
I'm a big fan of the Twin Cities. Now, you haven't gotten into the depths of winter yet, but are you enjoying your time so far?
I am enjoying it so far and smiling every moment that it's not in the negatives. So I'm really into the arts in town. I love the coffee. Whenever I do allow myself to have those crazy moments, which is, I think, becoming slightly more often, but I'm still trying to keep the hold on it. I love the lakes where I do my roller skating. So there are many, many things that I've been doing so far.
It took 19 minutes for you to mention roller skating. I'm just so excited that you finally Do you want to talk about the roller skating? Because I absolutely love it.
Yeah, sure. Roller skating's become my new favorite passion aside from music and all of this work. So I do a style of it called jam skating most of the time, which is dance roller skating. So I'll do my spins. I have some, I can do the splits a little bit, but not right now because I haven't been stretching for a while, so that'd be a little dangerous. And I also like to just do, laps around lakes. And this hobby came up almost 2 years ago exactly now, actually. Oh. And I decided to do it because I needed a a movement outlet. I needed something that was going to allow me to connect to my body, my spirit, and also Black culture a little bit more. Just it was kind of an all-for-one remedy for my pandemic blues at the time, and it's since just become a catalyst for so much just joy and freedom. Yeah, lots of good stuff.
So Janet says that she's a figure skater. So I guess the question is, are you going to convert those skates?
I just might. No, that's so great, Janet. I'm actually thinking about getting ice skates for the season so I can, just roll during the summer and slide during the winter. Full circle.
Well, maybe you'll just be able to keep roller skating all winter. Who knows?
We'll see. Yeah. I just know I won't do as much ice skating during the summer, but I might find a little a little pond in someone's home or something, or more likely just a hockey rink indoor. So there are options.
I'm from a hockey family, so I'm pretty sure you can find hockey in Minnesota.
Yes, definitely. I thank you for reminding me.
So when will we start to see videos of you playing the flute on roller skates?
That is a TBD project of mine for a TikTok potentially. We'll see when that actually comes about, but I'm, making sure I'm really good at keeping my balance with like a stick in my hand so I don't have any accidents, before I jump in, but it's coming. It's coming.
I mean, if Lizzo can twerk and trill, I'm pretty sure that you can Mozart and skate.
We can't not acknowledge how talented Lizzo is. Like she is an innovator. I am lucky just to exist on the same plane as her, and I hope that one day we can get together so she can twerk and trill and I can Mozart and skate or something, and we'll have our own brands. I think that'd be a good thing.
I can't wait for that day. I'm very excited. I'm a big fan and talk about Lizzo every day, so I am with you.
Yes, she's just so good. I have very little else to say about her. She's just the best.
Absolutely. So we're happy. Flute Specialist is happy to get you a flute that you can take on your skates that you won't be worried about. So you just let us know.
I'll shoot you my flute of choice by the end of the day.
We'll get you a demo flute there.
Perfect. Thank you.
I really enjoy the skating videos. I hope you keep them coming. It's
thank you.
It's good to see flutists doing things besides just playing the flute.
I agree. I think that's part of the reason why I needed to do it. Exactly that reason. Yeah. And I hear that you roller skate too. I know this is supposed to be about me, but I do want to talk about this because
you just turned that finger right around, didn't you?
I did. I see.
Well, connecting to my culture as maybe a white girl and growing up in the 90s, I did rollerblading. So I have rollerblades and I have the same rollerblades I had as a teenager because I haven't grown in a long time. And my dance skills are maybe not as advanced, but I do enjoy it.
And that's all that matters. That's all that matters. And I bet there's at least moderately better than you think they are. So just to say that out loud.
Well, thank you. I can find the beat as a musician, so that is a good start. I'm going to shift that finger and say hi from Shantanique.
Hey, Shantanique. Shantanique and I are good buddies. We know each other from Detroit, and we played together at the Cabrillo Festival last summer. And I'm going back, and I hope she is too. We'll talk about that later, I'm sure. But yeah, good to see you, Shantanique.
Fantastic. Shantanique and I were in grad school at the same time in Detroit. So
awesome.
Hi, Shantanique. All right. So I did also want to ask you, because I did not know you played on the Lion King soundtrack. That's kind of cool.
It was the coolest thing I've ever done. And if I top that, I won't believe it's actually happening. Yeah.
Well, maybe if you were with Lizzo, that might.
That would absolutely top it. So to scrap everything I just said.
That's great, though. Is there anything from that experience you want to share? I mean, tell me all about it.
So Hans Zimmer decided to make the orchestra for that recording session as essentially as Black as possible because he wanted to honor the roots of the Lion King. He was inspired by a video that he saw done by the Recollective Orchestra that had a a theme from Black Panther performed by an all-black orchestra. He said, that's what I need for this movie. So they got in touch, and essentially I was on a list of musicians that was handed over to Hans Zimmer and his team as a person from out of town that might qualify for the job. And I went and did it and got to bask in the glory of making Disney happen around me, and having Hans Zimmer there to conduct things, and also just to be surrounded by so much magic. Like it was really a one of a kind of experience. It lasted for 2 whole weeks. So I am very, very fortunate to have been able to do that.
Awesome. You also, for the Juneteenth performance at the Hollywood Bowl, there were some big headliners on that list I saw.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, when Earth, Wind, and Fire was on the same stage as me, the group that I loved them, but I was thinking about my dad in particular, who I think he might not have maintained consciousness if he was at the concert, just how happy he was. So that was crazy and super fun. And I hope to do it again.
Did you get to meet any of your fellow performers?
I didn't really get to talk to any of them individually, but let's see. I mean, Questlove is a very, very famous drummer who has changed a lot of the music world with his documentaries and his work. And he was sitting in front of me, and I think I said hi at one point, maybe, if that counts. Raven Simone was off stage, and I saw her and waved, and I think I almost got a wave back, so I'll take that as a connection too. Billy Porter, I saw hanging out by the food, and I almost talked to him, but he was wearing dreads that made him look like he was in a disguise, and I wasn't sure if he wanted to talk, so I let him do his thing. But we'll have our time someday.
You're such a sensitive human. I appreciate that.
I try to be. I'm not always successful.
Oh, that's fantastic. So coming up, you talked about the event in New York. Is there anything else coming up you're really excited to tease us with?
Let's see. Tease.
I put you on the spot, I know.
No, it's okay. I have a full calendar, so I'm just kind of sifting through. I think the concert that I'm the most looking forward to soon is a concert in Mexico that I'll be doing at San Miguel de Allende for the Pro Musica series down there. And I'll be going with the same pianist that I played with at IU. His name is Nathan Chung. He's fantastic. Then if you need a collaborative pianist in the Bloomington area, you can ask him. And yes, but yeah, that'll be super fun. And that'll be my first time in Mexico as an adult, because I think I went with my parents as a baby to Cancun or something, but I don't remember it because I was so young, and it was for them, and I'm glad they had a great time. Yeah.
Wow, that's great. And in all the shout outs we're giving, we skipped talking about Valerie Coleman. You've been playing a lot of her music. Yes. We love Valerie Coleman. She was on FluteSpresso a year ago. Actually, it was right after Thanksgiving. So a year or two ago.
You're right on time then. Yeah. What a good person to follow.
Marilyn's asking, will you be back in, it doesn't show it on there, in Detroit is what it says.
Yes, Marilyn, I will actually be back. I forgot to mention this. I'm playing a concert with the Ballade String Quartet, I believe in March. I'm pulling up the dates now. But we will be performing Amy Beach's Introduction and Variations for Flute and String Quartet. I'll also be playing Villalobos's Jet Whistle with the cellist of that group, and they'll be doing their own repertoire as well. And let's see, that concert will be February 24th, I believe at 7:30 p.m.
Fantastic. Well, we'll follow up with you because we'd love to see you when you're in Detroit.
Yeah, I would love to see you too, and everyone who's here from Detroit. Happy to talk anytime, as I think is kind of evident from how much rambling I'm doing right now. So I apologize if it sounds like it's like I'm going anywhere.
You're not rambling, and I do feel like I'm going to send you some coffee beans.
Oh no. Thank you, thank
We're
you.
casually working on a FluteSpresso blend, so.
Okay, that's amazing. I thought you were saying that I could add to my energy right now, which would be scary. No, I would love to try those coffee beans though.
No, offering you a gift. No criticisms for now.
Yay. Okay, thank you.
Oh, look at that. Ellen has put it on her calendar. Ellen is
Yay.
a frequenter of the show. Hi, Ellen. And a good
Yeah.
friend. So she's got it on her calendar. There it is. All right. So as I get to the bottom of my cup of coffee, that's how I know that we are nearing the end and we're ready for our FluteSpresso Express round. I know I could stay and chat with you all day.
Agreed. But I'm ready for this espresso. So.
All right. So I am doing FluteSpresso favorites. We used to do a this or that, but I've kind of changed to a favorites. And so you can just tell me your favorite. You can explain it. You cannot explain it. That's your choice, and you're always welcome to pass. Are you ready?
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. What is your favorite coffee or tea?
I'm gonna be an old person and say Earl Grey because I like how calming it is and it's so chill, and I need a lot more of that in my life.
Oh, you chose a tea over coffee. Okay.
But I love coffee. Hell yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I know.
All right, more serious. What is your favorite time of day to practice?
10 p.m. If I'm not really tired, I have my most productive practice sessions late at night every time. It's because I finally have a quiet world around me and I can just make all the sounds and thoughts that I have.
I was going to say you must have very understanding roommates and neighbors.
Yes, I do. I don't do it often. I really try not to, but you know, on the occasion I do. Everybody is very peaceful.
Again, no judgments. I practice at that time. I just thought I was the only one.
Okay.
Who are some of your favorite composers?
Oh my gosh. Valerie Coleman, William Grant Still, Coleridge Taylor Perkinson, Aaron Copland. I've become a big fan of recently, especially I've a new lens that I've used for listening to Appalachian Springs in particular. If I pretend I'm on a mountain with like the alpine sunshine, chippering squirrels, or whatever they're doing.
That's a good word. I like it.
Thank you. Okay. Anyway, those are some, and I have many more, but we will keep talking.
Who would you say is your most influential teacher?
Oh my gosh. That is really hard to say, honestly. I'll say the most influential one these days has been Keith Underwood, who has been a mentor and a really, really awesome just human to bounce musical ideas off of. We haven't been seeing each other as much recently, but I mean, with the lessons we've had, I mean, he's totally transformed the physicality that I have with the flute. Like my touch is totally different. I have a much better sense of support. My articulation is facile and relatively chill at this point, especially compared to then. And you know, he's just a great dude, and I will always thank him for his energy and his generosity and an enormous amount of wisdom that he carries all the time. So, yeah, Keith is a big, big blessing in my life.
Do you have a favorite moment for you as a teacher?
Probably seeing one of my high school students who chose not to go into music, which I'm very proud of her for doing because she wanted to do exactly what she wanted. She got like a president's scholarship for the school, and we still keep in touch. Yeah, it's really wonderful to see people doing well with you and then continuing to blossom way past you know, your concept of what they can do. So I'm just really, really honored that I got a chance to meet them.
Cool. Let's see here. What's your favorite place to visit?
Ooh, let's say Texas with my parents, just because my parents.
And shout out to your parents.
Shout out to the Sadberries.
Let's see here. Oh, since it was just Thanksgiving, I was curious, do you have a favorite Thanksgiving food?
Stuffing.
Oh,
Easy pick.
nice. As we go into the holidays, do you have a favorite holiday tradition?
Looking at the Christmas lights instead of putting them on my own house, probably.
Good answer. All right, my last favorite for you.
Hit me.
Your favorite place to roller skate?
Ooh, that'd be. I'm gonna say two places. The first is Lake Buttamacaska in Minneapolis. It's like 2.5 miles around and is the best scenery for people watching and just feeling the groove and just being present. And my second favorite is the Crosstown Concourse Garage in Memphis, Tennessee, which is where I learned how to roller skate.
Ah, good answer.
Yes. Trying to keep my context.
Well, thank you for being here with me today, Adam. I'm going to give you one more cheers.
Thank you. My pleasure. Cheers, Heather.
Cheers.